hormones, okay? And you can find deeper or more detailed instruction on page 289. All right, tropisms. Monastic movement. This is directionally independent and it's based on trigger pressure. If you guys remember the Venus flytrap and the honeydew plants that we talked about, the carnivorous plants, those are monastic movement. It just depends on more touch than anything. Tropisms, however, are based on direction, okay? Excuse me. Phototropism is growing toward a light source, okay? And remember, a positive tropism is going to grow toward the source of the response or toward the stimulus, and negative is going to grow away from the stimulus, okay? So in phototropism, stems have a positive phototropism because they're going toward the light. Remember, phototropism is growing toward the light. So stems have positive, but roots are growing in the opposite direction, so that's a negative phototropism. Okay. Gravitropism is growing toward the force of gravity. Okay. So stems and plumels will grow upward, and that's negative gravitropism. And roots and radicals, they're growing toward gravity, so they have a positive gravitropism. Thigmotropism is based off of touch, okay? And these will be like your tendrils and stems. These are vines. They can be trained to climb up poles and stuff like that. That's how farmers and stuff will train these vines to grow, is they'll use a thigmotropism, or to their advantage, put poles down and the little tendrils will grow around, causing the vines to go up. And then hydrotropism is growing toward water. Roots will tend to do this, so that would be positive tropism. All right, photoperiodism. Okay, photoperiodism is pretty much let's see here. Flowers will grow according to the length of day or darkness, essentially, okay? So, excuse me, try not to touch my hand. And we have 2 different types or 3 different types of plants that flower. Remember, plant growth or flower growth, okay, is determined by the amount of darkness that a plant has, not by the amount of daylight they have. Okay, so make sure you remember that, okay? So short day plants have a shorter day period and a longer night period. A long day plant will have a long day period and a shorter night period. Day neutral plants really, they're going to blossom no matter how long the days or nights are, okay? Phytochromes, which don't worry too much about that, but know what it means. Phytochromes are pigments that help control their responses to photoperiodism. Okay, and again, PR and PFR, don't worry too much about that. Just know what phytochromes do. Okay. All right. So now dealing with plants wisely. Okay. So asexual reproduction of plants is called vegetative propagation. Okay. Essentially, this means the plants are genetically identical to each other. They are clones in the sense. Okay. They can sprout from them. They grow from them. As long as they're genetically identical, it's considered vegetative propagation. Okay. Underground structures are called bulbs, tubers, and corms. Okay. Stolon is another term. Okay. But let's see, you don't have to worry too much about that. Oh, here it is. Stolons are specialized stem structures. Okay. Some will drop plantlets. to produce new, to take root nearby. Some will send up new shoots from their roots, and a few will grow from leaves. Okay, so we have different types of vegetative propagation, but essentially they're all genetically related to each other. All right. So how do we use plants? Okay, well, plants actually fulfill different needs. We use them for food, obviously. And we can mass produce them through vegetative propagation. However, there's a risk with that because it limits genetic variety, okay, and it makes them more susceptible to diseases and other problems that could result from being genetically identical. Some plants will not form fruit seeds if they're pollinated by the same variety, okay? So, but asexual reproduction, again, is used with certain crops. Grafting is a form of vegetative, as a form of how we use it. And basically, you're taking two parts of a plant, okay? And you want to create a new plant by taking the main plant, which is called the scion, and then adding another part of another plant, which is called the stalk, to it. And you can actually kind of fuse them together, tape it up to where it'll fuse, grow into each other, and that becomes a new plant, okay? Layering is when a branch of a plant, usually bushy one, is bent to the ground. So the branch will come over and then it will be bent over and a portion of it gets buried, okay? And then you have seedless crops such as bananas and watermelon. They're not technically seedless. They do have seeds, but they're immature and they're non-functional. All right. Agriculture is the science of farming, okay? So again, we have to be careful with agriculture and be mindful of it. Plants with limited genetic diversity can be susceptible to diseases. The Green Revolution was a period of the 20th century where we practiced agricultural differently. And basically, we did intensive crossbreeding of plants and created a lot of high yield crops as a result. GMOs were here, which again are not technically a bad thing. It's just we have to be careful and cautious how we use them. And that goes back to the creation mandate, being wise stewards, okay? Plants are part of the water cycle, okay? So pretty much they can do everything except decompose. They're not decomposers and everything like that, but they do help limit, reduce temperatures, prevent soil erosion, and stuff like that. During the 1920s or the 1930s, there were tons of droughts that killed off plants, and as a result, all these dust storms occurred, and it was called the Dust Bowl. You guys remember from history. Okay. So that's it for chapter 15. Some more review questions, guys. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go there. Please remember to answer the questions that I have posted in the Google Forms on Classroom and submit that to let me know that you have read through this and reviewed it. And I will talk to you guys later.